in terms of the Refugee Act, you're supposed to go to the nearest country. South Africa is not the nearest country to all those countries, even those Ethiopians and Somalians who claim to be running away from their countries. You are not supposed to just run to South Africa. And they can't say they're running away from war if they're coming and they're bringing their men. Where are the women? Which country has wars and only men are running to that country? Because we're seeing an influx of Ethiopians and Somalians who claim to be refugees, and they're coming from way out of this country, crossing several countries that they can go and make home to their home if they are refugees. Why are they all coming to South Africa? Why are refugees setting up businesses in this country? What does the Refugee Act say for them to have tuck shops and want to have mafia groups and so forth? Now we've got spaza shop mafias being run by Ethiopians and Somalians who claim to be refugees who are men. What kind of refugees are here terrorizing the locals who want to open spaza shops? Those are not refugees, those are criminals. And every time South Africans make a call about this, we are told that people have problems in their country. If they have problems in their country, you can't make South Africa a solution to countries having problems. South Africa is a country that has to take care of its own problems. South Africa is a country that currently has the highest unemployment rates in the world. You can't say because 50,000 people in Congo or wherever are having problems with their government, we become the home to those people. Where are these people going to be living? That's where we have squatter camps and informal settlements. Where they're going to school, those same schools that our children are not getting spots in. Where are they going to be getting healthcare? In those same hospitals where our grannies now have to wait for hours and hours in queues and sleep on beds and sleep on the floor instead of sleeping on beds and giving birth every 5 minutes. We can't have a system that allows refugees to just come. Everyone can be a refugee in this country. We are not a country that has enough resources to take care of its own people. How are we now extending an olive branch to everyone in the world to say come in? Yes, South Africa signed some United Nations treaties years ago, but everything can be reviewed looking at the current situation. We don't have a cap on the number of refugees that we can have. In the UK and other places, they say limited to 10,000 people. Why are we the only country where there's an unlimited number of refugees that can just walk in? Will we have a future for this country? Where are our children going to go to if they can't open a spaza shop because it's run by Ethiopians? They can't go to Point Road because it's owned by Nigerians. You can't get a certain building because it's owned by Somalians. You can't do a certain thing because those jobs belong to people from Congo. What kind of country functions that way?
You mentioned you have a court case pending. Are you optimistic?
We are more than ready. We've explored all the legalities and we're ready to take on our government, because no government in the world has a jurisdiction or a duty to protect other citizens of the country while putting their own in such compromising positions. We have national security threats. We have bombs being found every other day at the Bay Bridge border, where they come in and they do illegal mining with those. They do cash and transit heists. They're from Zimbabwe. Apparently there's a new thing that when Zimbabwe runs out of money, they come and they have cash and transit heists here, because they know that they're going to come into the country and leave, and come in and leave, because that's the kind of country that we have. We're not safe as South Africans. We need safety for our children, for ourselves, for our future, and it's for every South African's duty to stand up against its own government that has created a system where it compromises the people. And do you know how they suppress us? They suppress us by telling us that we're vigilante groups, by giving us names, we're xenophobic and these things, so that every time we try and stand up for ourselves, we don't have the means to do that, because already we're being labeled as the people who are wrong. But during apartheid, the very same thing happened. People were labeled as terrorists for fighting a system that made it legal and lawful to segregate people based on race. And now we are facing a different kind of oppression, where we have NGOs and NPOs that are funded by foreign organizations, the Open Society funding Aboseri and them to take our government to court so that they can keep flooding us with illegal immigration. There's no such country that functions properly where it has millions of unknown illegal immigrants. There's none, not even one in the world.
Hey there, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, that is Jacinta Mangobese Zuma, a very controversial character to some of us who have been following the events in South Africa concerning the xenophobia attacks. It is a familiar character. She has been at the center of this cause from day one, of pushing out undocumented, illegal immigrants, migrants from the South African soil. She's a bit controversial because of the controversies that are surrounding her identity, but also so many questions concerning her nationalities. There are some allegations that she comes from Zambia. She keeps on disputing it, but the bottom line is that is Jacinta Mangobese Zuma. I think I pronounced it very well.
Getting a lot of threats and provocation from foreigners to say, you think you can do what you're doing in KZN and come march here in Gauteng or come march here in Joburg. We'll show you that Joburg belongs to us as foreigners. So we're here today to prove to them that there's no country that is going to be a country in South Africa. This country is South Africa, and it's going to belong to South Africans, whether they like it or not, because it's easier to fight with us if we're separated, and that's why they're trying to push the whole tribalist image now of Zulus and Pedis and Twanas or whatever. And we're united here, different tribes, different races from South Africa, to say that nobody's going to cause us fear in our own country. Nobody is going to render us useless or scared or non-existent in our own country, whether it's in business, whether it's in our own facilities and our resources. Everything that is in this country belongs to South Africans first. And foreigners are being done a favor with everything that they do here in our country. It's a favor, really. Don't own this country, you never will.
This is Africa. This is Africa. This is Africa. Go fight for the land. Go fight for the land. Go come reclaim the land. Yeah, fight your fellow black. Fight your fellow brother, sister. Where do you want us to go stand? We have been here more than 35 years. Leave us alone. We are Africa. This is our continent. We are Africa. This is our continent.
Now, when they call us foreigners or undocumented or illegal migrants, immigrants in South Africa, some of them that have been in South Africa for quite long period of time, some have spent decades, 5, 4, 3, 2. They are also retaliating against the brutal attacks from the actors who are leading the cause that is clarified as a cause that is reclaiming their identity, repossessing what belongs to them. So they have started retaliating in different communities in South Africa. And some of the movers, the initiators, the vision bearers of the shameful acts of violence, brutality, and barbaric acts of killing foreigners, attacking their businesses, vandalizing their properties. Some of them are also being put to account, and they're being attacked in different parts of the cities. This is what is taking place. These are the characters of Jacinta Mangobese Zuma. Not over until
they claim their land and the farm and the economy of South Africa. We're not the one holding the economy of South Africa. Yes, go fight for their land. We are Africa. This is our continent. We are Africa. We are Africa. We're not European. We're not America. This is Africa. We fight for the liberation of South Africa.
Now, a number of migrants have been compliant, maybe out of fear. But again, there's a section that is defiant, and they're also saying they're not leaving South Africa. Like I said, the approach that our brothers and sisters are taking must be revised. They must re-strategize. They must rethink the approach that, at the end of the day, making South Africa descend into anarchy, making South Africa descend into a lawlessness country, are taking the law in their own hands.
Hi guys. So since I can see that some of you are so desperate to make this immigration struggle that we're currently facing in our country something about me being heartbroken or bitter or whatnot, you've gone to the extent of using videos of women claiming they love Nigerians, creating tweets about how I need Nigerian friends, and all of this propaganda that you're trying to push to make sure that I seem like someone who's confused about Nigerians or even immigrants for that matter who are in the country legally. First of all, I'm going to welcome South Africans to propaganda. You see, what you're experiencing now is what's called propaganda. When people try to twist the actual truth to make a story or taint the person who's telling the story as someone who's just pushing an agenda or something. That's how politicians work. That's how the media works. So welcome to it. And then also, if you can see how hard they're trying to make this March and March thing seem like it's just about hatred of foreigners, and foreigners are these innocent people who come to South Africa because they're doing all these wonderful things for our country, and the only people who are crazy as South Africans because you hate your people of your own skin color, what. It's propaganda. And I can safely tell you guys that it's the one thing that they're going to be pushing from now onwards. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm seeing you recording videos, sharing your thoughts and your feelings about this country and fighting so hard to share the actual stories. Continue to do so. Don't get tired, whether they listen or don't listen. I see you in the comment section fighting, guys, for your lives to make sure that you tell our stories the genuine South African way about just how much these people are abusing us in our own country. And the minute we say something, it's always xenophobia. So thank you so much for that. Continue, South Africans. Don't get tired. Don't stop fighting for your country. This is the last chance. I promise you, this is the last chance that we have to put an end to this nonsense that's going on in our country. Now, I want to share with you a story, like I said, since you guys so desperately want to paint me as a bitter person. And maybe I am bitter, who knows? Because I was 14 years old, living with my mother, when I saw her breaking down, crying tears. Because when she went to Home Affairs, she found out that she had been married off to a Nigerian that she didn't even know. So all of us had a problem with our identity because our mother basically was using a different surname. And from the surname, someone that she didn't know. And they were telling her that the only way to get out of this is to get a divorce. And to get a divorce would mean that this person takes half of everything that she has and she owns. This person that she doesn't know, she's never met in her life, who came all the way from Nigeria to steal an identity and pretend that he is married to her. I guess over time they realized that stealing or faking marriages doesn't work. Now they started buying off South African women to marry them, which is working quite well for them because, oh my gosh, pela desperation, love of money, etc., etc. So maybe I could be still bitter about that. Who knows? Maybe it's a childhood trauma. Who knows? But at the end of the day, it's what's driving me to make sure that we never have to go through this nonsense again. Our kids never have to go through this nonsense again. Because can you imagine our children having to deal with Nigerians and them increasing in number, and dealing with Zimbabweans, and dealing with Mozambicans, Malawians, Pakistanis, Chinese, Bangladeshis, all of these people that are here in our country, all of them just taking over bits and pieces of it. I saw a video of these Pakistanis saying they have to get more Pakistanis to come to South Africa because there's more people from Israel, more Jews. So we've become a playground for people fighting their own religious battles in our country. And you guys want us to worry about being labeled as xenophobic. Label us all you want, do the propaganda all you want. You can propaganda all day. You can even fake AI videos and fake tweets and fake Facebook, whatever you do. But this is a fight for survival of this country. And if you think that it's going to end because of me or because of anyone, it's not going to end anymore. Right now, God has decided that he's had enough of the things that you people are doing in our country. And you can cry and scream to the United Nations who gives you money to come here and do all this nonsense so they can feed their globalization idea. And our country is like a guinea pig for all these nonsense ideas that they want to have and do. We have had enough. Simple. And you might have all these weapons that you think you have. You won't have time to use them because you leave before you do. You must send this message to all of you in this country, thinking that you're going to be coming here and taking over. When you tell you're going to leave, you tell us you're not going to go because you've been here before. This is not before. This is the beginning of the end for you. We're not backing down. We want our country back from you, all of you.
So she seems to still stand brutally defiant, keeping all the other factors of the attacks, the criticism. She still stand defiant, push on with her cause, irrespective of how the stakeholders at the continent view her push. However, like I said, much as we give different opinions concerning the development stories in South Africa, the citizens themselves, the stakeholders of South Africa as a country, still have the highest moral ground, the highest moral authority to give their views concerning the crisis that is at hand, irrespective of how they perceive what is taking place, how they view it. It is within their hands to have that moral authority to give their views more than us. Of course, we can also make a contribution because we do believe Africa as a continent belongs to us all. Before the demarcation of boundaries by the white man, 60 years back, 70 years back, I think we were living in same communities. Before these divisions of the religion, the tribes, ethnicity, and then the geographical demarcations, we were one person. One Africa, one people.
Don't vote for me. I don't want that vote. I don't want a xenophobic vote. I love my African people.
That's why I'm saying we must be in a position to accommodate different views. From those who are supporting the approach and those who are not in support of the approach, like Ndugu Julius Malema, who has been vocal from day one concerning the approach of solving the crisis of undocumented migrants, especially groups that are targeting Africans. His position has been clear, and for his case, he's putting the government to task. He's putting the government to account because the government has the constitutional mandate, it has the constitutional duty to ensure that every single person, maybe who is a foreigner residing in South Africa, must be living in South Africa on legal grounds.
The same way I love my mother and my grandmother, I'm in love with Africans. Africans are hated everywhere. You go to America, the black skin is a source of hatred. You go to UK, a black skin is a source of hatred. You asking me to join in the hatred of black people. I know what the hatred of my skin did during apartheid. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be asked that I should stand at the border, at the fence between Limpopo and Zimbabwe and block a mother who's carrying a child, only crossing to get a medication in Musina and going back to Zimbabwe because there is a problem in Zimbabwe. I refuse to join that chorus. And if that will not make me the president of this country, I'm happy that let me die with my conscience being clear than being a president who has emerged through selling out his own soul. Nobody asked me to feel like this. I feel very strongly about black people. I feel very strong about African continent. And I would rather not be a president because I know for a fact that this is an establishment that is spreading this anti-blackness that we experience everywhere else. It's not true. There's jobs in the restaurants. These Lesotho women who are working in our houses, our sisters don't want to work there. They've gone to schools. They want quality jobs. Not that they look down on these jobs. They are saying, I cannot, with a diploma, with N6, with qualifications, go and be a domestic worker. We want more. Who wants to go and work and be paid with wine in the Cape Farms? Who wants to do that of South Africans? Let me and you take trucks and buses now and go and fetch those foreigners who are working there during harvesting season in the Cape wines. Let's go and take them and let's see what's going to happen to those Cape wines. All of those grapes are going to get rotten because our people will never agree to work in exchange for wine. Never will I. Nothing will persuade me. Not the results of the elections, not a gun on my head, not any form of intimidation will persuade me to hate on black people. I will never hate on Africans, not even for votes. Do not vote for me if you don't love Africans and you want me to hate.
Now he makes a very valid and legitimate point. You see, South Africa is one of the countries in Africa with the highest literacy rates. And when you look at the performance of universities and institutions of higher learning across the continent, I think the first 3 or 4 are from South Africa. And the majority of the population have studied, but there are no jobs. But the jobs they are complaining about are not jobs from the formal sector. They are complaining about jobs that are in the informal sector, especially petty jobs that they are not even willing and able to do. To the extent today, even if they manage to push out all the undocumented immigrants, migrants out of South Africa, I'm telling you, they will not be in a position to take up these jobs because of their education levels. Maybe they talk about the laziness, but they keep on complaining. Most of the undocumented or illegal migrants or immigrants that are residing in South Africa, majority, almost 90%, are in the informal sector, of which the petty jobs they do, even the least ordinary South African, they're not willing to take them up. That's the point that he makes, which is valid and legitimate at the same time. The other responses to Ndugu Jacinta Mangobese Zuma.
A few days ago, a South African lady by Jacinta made this video.
60% of you are here committing crimes. 60%.
Captioned that 60% of the crimes committed in South Africa are linked to Nigerians. Now, I went back to do some research, computer analysis, and here is my findings. Now, let's look at South Africa's population index. I ran this analysis yesterday and generated this report. South Africa Population Index for 2025. Estimated 62.13 million people live in South Africa. Over 62 million. And amongst those, foreign nationals in the country are about 2.40 million. Okay? Zimbabwe is topping the chart with 864,000. Mozambique is there with 492,000. Lesotho is there with 328,000. Nigeria is there with 223,144. And somebody said that 60% of the crimes committed in South Africa is linked to Nigerians. You know, Look at these numbers. All right. Now let's look at South Africans that are living abroad. On the other hand, United Kingdom shares a similar population density with South Africa. United Kingdom sits at around 69 to 72 million. Okay. Imagine people from the UK come out and single out South Africa as being behind 60% of the crime committed in United Kingdom, because in the UK we have 245,000 to 298,000 South Africans. In Australia we have 214,000 to 222,000 South Africans. In the USA we have 120,000 to 160,000 South Africans. In Ireland it's just shy under 10,000. A lot of South Africans are living in Nigeria, but useless country don't have data. They will never compute data, so that when matters come like this for global relevance and explanation, we can work with data, but we always work with estimation. Shame on you Nigerians, because you can't even compute how many South Africans live in Nigeria. Now let's look at the crime density in South Africa. How is crime being conducted? I ran a statistical, qualitative and quantitative analysis yesterday to bring out a crime map and a crime data and how it's been spread. Let's go there. Now, this is crime in South Africa. I ran a statistical, qualitative and quantitative analysis to generate this report. Okay. Now, evidence-based analysis of crime, drugs, prostitution, arrest and profit. This is Q3 of 2025-2026. It is said in the crime report, that the crimes committed in South Africa is no tie. There is no verified official evidence showing that foreign nationals like Nigerians or any single nationality commit most crimes in South Africa. These are SAP's public statistics report crimes by category and province and time the crimes were committed. All claim that foreigners or Nigerians commit most crime is not supported by public SAP data reviewed. Okay, these are your crimes from categories from cases. These are your crimes from murder to sexual offense, rape, attempted murder. See, they are going up. Drug related crime is going up. Driving under influence is going up. Attempted murder is going up. These are all the crime indices. Crimes detected by police. These are all the crimes. Your statistics and your data have nowhere to show that a certain national, they were not grouped to say, oh, these crimes are committed by these nationals. These crimes are committed by these nationals. All right. And look at crimes that are going up. Drugs is 17.9% increase due to lack of job. You guys have the highest unemployment rate. We also have our unemployment rate. But because South Africans have refused to educate themselves, South Africa has some of the best scholarships in Africa. I know a few friends of mine that went to South Africa to study completely for free. But you guys will not go to school. But all the time you guys come out and want to attack a certain national. It is not fair at all. All right. And look at your crime map. Look at your crime indices in Gauteng, Western Cape, KwaZulu-Natal. And look at commercial crime is up by 2.0%. Arrest and police action, 9.5%. Prostitution and sex trafficking, you can imagine. So you need to deal with the problem home before you start, if you don't want nationals in your country, there is no problem. But singling out nationality simply because you feel threatened or you're heartbroken and you're committing hate crime, hate speech on your own people is diabolical. I'll be Mazi Titi and I'll see you.
So now that you guys tried that thing of calling me Mozambican the same way that you are saying Zandi is Zimbabwean, because my name is Jacinta, which happens to be a Roman Catholic name, and I am from a very staunch Catholic home. You're turning around now and saying that in Nigeria, apparently because I dated a Nigerian who broke my heart. I want you to know something, ne? And I want you, when you think of the name Jacinta, to think about this. This is me, ne? I don't drink alcohol. I've never drank alcohol because it was a choice. I don't smoke because it was a choice. I don't do drugs because it was a choice. I don't do clubs. I don't go partying. I don't go grooving. I don't go sleeping around with different men. It was a choice. And I want you to know that given a chance to choose, and in a choice between dying and dating a Nigerian, I'd choose death. And I want you to know that that has nothing to do with the fact that I hate Nigerians or I hate foreigners for that matter. It's just because it's a choice. So I want you to understand that what I'm doing has nothing to do with me being hurt or me being brokenhearted by some man, because some of you think that life starts and ends with men. That's why your thinking is so narrow. But what I'm doing has to do with my future as a South African. It has to do with the future of this country that I was born in, that I so love, the future of our children as a country. And it has everything to do with the fact that I can't sit back and watch while people destroy our country and try and gaslight us by telling us it's because we're black. Being black doesn't mean that everyone must come to South Africa and ruin our country. We can be black in every other African country. Doesn't mean you must all come be black here in this country. Ne? And I'm saying this again. You guys have had years to set yourself up and go back to your country. We gave you, we were polite, we lived with you, but every time we started accepting the behavior, you started becoming more and more brave. Our cities look like a junk that you come from. Our children are no longer safe because of you. Kidnappings on a high, things that we didn't even know growing up. When I was growing up, there's certain things that I was enjoying that I know my children can no longer enjoy because of the way that we are living now. So what I'm doing is putting myself at the front and saying that I'm not going to stand by and watch while people destroy our country and tell us it's because people are looking for a better life. We also deserve a better life as South Africans. And that better life doesn't mean accommodating everyone to come here and take. Those days are gone, guys. I keep saying, if you guys know what's best for you, stop arguing and fighting with us on comments and swearing at us on social media. That's just fueling our fire even more, making us even want to do it every day even more. You're not going to stop us. The love and passion that we have for this country is not going to die just because you swore at me on TikTok. Like, come on, think about it now. The same love and passion that we have for our country, the same love and passion you should have for your own country. And I'm telling you, you would be in a better place today. So keep swearing at us, see what it's going to do. It's not going to change anything. So here's the second video that I promised, and it's mostly questions that I want to pose to fellow Africans who seem to be hell-bent on assuming the position of being victims. No matter how hard we try to explain ourselves that there's no xenophobia here, we are tired, they just start creating stories about people who are being hit, who are being killed. And no matter what, even last time they were taking videos of things that are unrelated and saying that those are videos that they're using to support the claim that we are xenophobic. And I promise you right now, I think you're not doing yourselves any favors by not listening to what South Africans are saying, because what we're saying is clear. We're not fighting you, we're telling you the truth as it is. And it's you that decides that you don't want to hear it, because you decide to resort to swearing, calling us names as usual. And the funny thing is, the same thing that you're doing, swearing at us, is the same thing that other immigrants who are here in South Africa are doing. And they're the same people that they are claiming that we're xenophobic against them. So here are the questions that always leave me puzzled when it comes to this issue of illegal immigrants and people claiming that they're here because they need refuge in South Africa because their countries are so bad. First of all, you guys always say South Africa is xenophobic. You say it all the time. Every 2 minutes that you get, you jump to say xenophobia, xenophobia. So my question is, if South Africa is xenophobic, why are you angry then that South Africans are saying go home? Because this is your opportunity to leave the xenophobic country. Why would you be fighting people in their country because they're xenophobic in their country, and you've got a country to go to that you can always just go back to? You don't have to put up with xenophobia. You don't have to put up with all the pain and suffering that you claim you're going through because South Africans are hitting you or killing you, whatever. Why are you guys lying and saying there's xenophobia, whereas you are refusing to leave the very same country that you claim has xenophobia? Second to that, you are the same people. 60% of you are here committing crimes. 60%. But you are the victims. We've got an entire show on South African TV called Sizokuthola. And every single Sunday, without fail, there are Nigerians that are found with drugs, selling drugs, and their answer is always that they are trying to hustle in South Africa. So our country must just keep quiet while you guys sell our children drugs and just hijack buildings, and you come here and you prostitute women, you steal children, you kidnap, you do tuck shop mafias, you sell rotten food. We must keep quiet while you do that, because if we don't keep quiet, you're going to jump to say you're going to stop trading with us. Kanti, you're not doing us a favor by trading with South Africa, by the way. You're trading with South Africa because you get something out of it. Trade works that way. You don't trade for free. You trade because you are getting something in return. But you are not trading people with us. So this thing of saying that you're going to stop trading with us is funny, because if you are trading with South Africans, trade with goods. Don't trade with us by sending us people from your country and forcing us to live with them. And then if we don't want any more of them, because there's millions and millions of them walking around committing crime, suddenly you turn around and make us the bad people. Also, another thing that I find so strange is that you are the same people that come here claiming to be refugees, to be poor, to be all these sad stories that you always give when you want to stay in South Africa. But when you are in South Africa and you realize that you claim and you want the whole world to listen to your sad stories about lies that you create, saying that there's xenophobia and you are dying and this and that, you claim that you fear for your lives. You left your country because you feared for your life. But you didn't fight for your country. But you are here in South Africa fighting South Africans for South Africa. How does that make sense? You failed to fight in your own country for your rights in your own country with your own government, for your own children's future and your entire lineage. But you are here in South Africa telling us that you're fighting South Africans because they no longer want you in South Africa. I find this so strange. I find this so strange. That where do you get this energy that you guys have to make videos about how South Africans are fighting you, what, when you don't make those videos about your government that hits you, that abuses you, that kills you, that the police just hit you randomly. Like right now, you guys are making a video trend and you are saying the worst things about South Africa. South Africans are evil, they're this, they're that, because they spoke to you and told you to go back to your country. South Africans, all they did was speak to you and tell you that you have to go back to your country. Speak. But your government, your police beat you up, they hit you, they torture you, they do the most cruel things that are against human rights. But you don't know your human rights when you're in your country, do you? So your human rights only exist when you're in South Africa. You only know South Africans to be the ones that must abide by human rights. You can do whatever you want in your country. Even here in South Africa, you do the most horrible things. You don't remind people about their human rights. You don't know their human rights. You only remember them when it comes to South Africans. Guys, I have to tell you this. Whether you like it or whether you hate it, whether it makes you angry, South Africans are not going to move from the call of removing illegal immigrants and foreigners who are in this country with no approval to be here, just trying to get our documents, fraudulently getting them, corrupting the system, paying money to get here, then opening tax shops and running businesses without paying tax and doing all of these funny things, working for R1 an hour, while South Africans know that there's a minimum wage in this country. We are not going to allow you to break our laws anymore while you hide behind the banner of xenophobia. Or xenophobia, South Africans are xenophobic. We are tired. We allowed you guys to do that once and once upon a time, but you're not going to do it again. Now when we're standing up for ourselves in our country, something that you couldn't do in your own country. You couldn't do that in your own country. And some of you are not even in South Africa. You're in other countries and you're claiming that we're being abusive to people. You don't even know the life that we live because of foreigners in South Africa. You don't even care, in fact, because you like being victims. Africans have a tendency of wanting to be victims about everything. You don't take accountability for the things that you do. You can't even stand up for yourselves to your own government, and that's why African countries are in such a horrible state. Because you fear your government. And you don't want African unity. You guys must be honest. You don't want African unity. You want to leave your countries in a junk to come and be in South Africa so that we must take care of you. That's the honest truth. Because if you loved your countries and if you knew about what human rights are, you would have fought for your human rights in your country. You can't come here now and tell us that you've got human rights when you didn't remember those human rights in your country. Some of you don't even have a democracy. You don't even vote. But when in South Africa, someone tells you to go home, or we are marching in our streets against our government, handing over memorandums to our government, you have a problem with this. You ask us if we're authority. In South Africa, we are the authority. We are the authority. You know those same quotes that you always make from the Bill of Rights that South Africa belongs to all who live in it. There's also a quote that the people shall govern. You must know they go hand in hand. You can't know one thing that favors you and do not know the other things that don't favor you. So lastly, you guys we've been very kind. None of you, not even a single one of you has kept migrants in your country for 33 years in millions. Not even, show me one other African country that has had migrants in their country for 33 years. Not even one. We don't even have refugee camps for you guys because we wanted to integrate you into our country. What did you do? You took that for granted. And now you want to tell us that we're xenophobic because we're tired. No, guys. No. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that. You can't even allow people to break the laws in your own country. Why are you asking us to break our own laws? Because if we don't, then we are xenophobic. There's laws in this country. There's immigration laws. There's laws that govern the behavior of people coming outside of the country, like your countries. So if you can't fight for yourselves and fight for your rights in your own country and fight for your government or with your government, don't tell us we must do the same. It's not about you here. We're not fighting you. We're fighting our government. But if you want to come here and talk like this and think that you're going to make us stop, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Right. That is the defiant, notorious, controversial Jacinta Mangobese Zuma. Some of the points she makes, they are valid points. Of course, there are also lies in her submissions, because it is full of hate speech. But at the end of the day, if you talk about African unity, if you talk about borderless Africa, if you talk about Pan-Africanism, and whereby these are some of the core principles that spearheaded the anti-apartheid cause 30 years back, 40 years back, the current trend of affairs in South Africa could not only act as a bottleneck, could not only act as a stumbling block, but could be a very great challenge concerning bringing Africa together and fighting against the tour of division that was anchored, spearheaded, and initiated by our colonizers. Like I said, the cause that you're pursuing is 100% legitimate. I would do the same in my country, especially if I do believe in constitutionalism, if I do believe in rule of law. But where the problem is the approach. And not putting the government of South Africa to task and to account for its failures, the loopholes, and the weaknesses within the system. 360 degrees.